Hello, Tiger fans. Thanks for joining us this week on the Perry Thomas Show here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of Fighting Tiger football, Perry Thomas. And Coach, no game, but maybe one of the most trying weeks, trying times in your tenure here at Campbellsville. Thought we had a game with Warner. Obviously, Hurricane Irma had other plans. Supposed to go to Naples. That obviously isn't a good idea right now given the situation in South Florida. And before we start, obviously, we want to send thoughts and prayers to the folks in Florida. I know there are a lot of people affected from the Tigers. You got a lot of athletes from down that way and coaches as well.
Yeah, no doubt. We have many guys that are from Florida, Georgia area, families still there, and as the whole campus does. And, we send our prayers out to those and hope that things get recovered well and that not many are hurt or injured from those type of deals. And, it's going to be some time for them to work and get things back to normal, but we hopefully things will move in the right direction, and it really minimizes football, when you look at the disaster that's going on. But certainly we're ready to get back on the field and play some games.
It's going to be a little bit before the Tigers get back on the field and likely to be the 30th of September before we see the maroon and gray take to the field again. And Coach, let's start last week. We sat in these chairs and we knew that it was a little iffy and a dicey situation with Warner. They were supposed to come to Tiger Town, and that didn't happen. Ultimately, they made the decision that they didn't have enough time to get their student athletes back on campus and let them disperse before some of that weather moved into the area. They're a little south of Orlando, kind of in between Orlando and Tampa there. So at what point did you start to hear the whispers that Warner may not be able to make the trip? And give me your timeline on that and finding out how that was going to work out.
Well, so I guess it was Wednesday when we knew for sure that they weren't going to play. And as a Tuesday, we thought there was a possibility, but at that time we had moved it to Friday night, here at our place, and we thought it was going to be a goal. But the staff, we kind of thought that they could back out at any moment. But you get 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Wednesday, you're thinking you're going to play. So we're ready for practice, game planning, and so forth. And then, you get the call that you're not going to play. So, Wednesday we found out. And at that point, we also knew that there was a chance that we wouldn't play this week, because if they got the destruction that they were calling for, it was hard to figure how that we was going to play the following week. But, talked to that coach at Ave Maria toward the end of the week a couple of times, and he felt like it'd be a goal. So, we was just praying that things would work out. But the Warner game was certainly a letdown, but, certainly we understand their situation. Weber, which is right there, located right across the lake from them, did play at Cumberland, Tennessee Friday, at Lebanon, Tennessee. But, Warner felt like they couldn't make it back in time to get their guys home safely. And, safety has to come before football. So we understood it was just frustrating because you had a half a week's prep and the guys were gearing up, ready to go. Plus, we lost a home game. So we hadn't been home since September 24th, and we're 2-0, and we're feeling good, and we're ready to play at home.
Yeah, and so the Warner game falls through, and then you immediately, coach, as any coaching staff would do, you start to turn your attention to Ave Maria. There's nothing you can do about those next 3 to 4 days, so let's get a little extra prep on Ave Maria. And I think that initially everybody thought that hurricane may stay to the eastern side of Florida, which makes it certainly possible to go down to the Naples, which was on the west coast, Naples, and it's a little east of Naples, but we still felt like that was going to be a go.
Yeah, we immediately start working on Ave Maria, got our guys in the mindset we're going to use the last couple of days of last week as a open week type of deal, and we're going to practice and get better on us, but also start looking at Ave Maria. And then Friday night, the coaches were able to get out across the state and recruit and go to high school games. So we utilized that time looking that we're going to play this week. And in the meantime, I'm also throwing hints to the coach down there, Coach Patterson at Ave Maria. Look, y'all can come here. We'll help with your expenses, because the hurricane was 400 miles wide at one point. Well, the bottom of Florida isn't 400 miles wide. So we thought that it could affect them somewhat. Obviously, you didn't think it would hit the Naples area like it did. That wasn't called for. But, we were trying to get them to come here and also, but Coach Patterson felt, surely that they would be able to play. And so we just went to work on Ave Maria.
And then so we get, you fast forward a little bit into this week, Coach, and I know early in the week, obviously you guys are still prepping, still game planning,
Right.
working on all those things. We start to see some things come out of the Ave Maria area that bleachers were on the field, and there was some mild flooding, but mainly I think their campus came out pretty good through Hurricane Irma and that storm. Now it's kind of a waiting game again with Ave Maria to figure out, is this going to be a possibility? And I know got to be some hesitation on your end. You're talking about a gas shortage and food shortage. Do you want to take 55, 65 guys into that South Florida area? That's kind of a little scary as well.
Well, there was a lot of things to think about. The fact that you couldn't get a hold of the hotels. In fact, it was just recent that the hotel was able to get a hold of us so we could cancel the rooms, but you couldn't get a hold of the hotels. You couldn't reach Coach. Finally, he found a hot spot where he could send me a text, but you couldn't really communicate with anyone at first. Then you start getting reports of the damage going on, and we're staying in Naples, which Naples is probably about 50 miles north of Ave Maria. So that's where we were planning to stay, where you saw all the reports of the flooding and so forth. So now you're trying to figure out, is there any way possible we can go down there from our standpoint safely? But also, even if you can get a hold of them, to find out what's going on in that area. Power's out, cell towers are out, flooding everywhere, water, gas shortage, people looting for food and so forth. So it was a frustrating time, but we had to continue to prepare because in our minds we still had a game. So you have to get prepared for the game. Bus companies calling, wondering what's going on, but there's nothing you could tell them. Finally, Coach was able to get a hold of me, and this was, I guess, Monday, and we were talking, and I was like, well, what are we going to do? And he's like, well, we don't know yet. So no decision had been made as of Monday. So the game wasn't officially postponed until Tuesday morning, which once again, now you get into canceling the rooms, canceling the buses, canceling the meals, trying to hustle up and find something else. So it's been a trying time for everyone, our side and theirs.
Hey, you talk about the Ave Maria side, Coach. I don't think that their students are actually going to be back on campus till late this week. So,
Right.
Do they even have a place to practice and prepare for the game? They don't have power. How do you watch, film and different
there's
things?
no
So it just
prep
really
for
didn't
them.
make sense.
Yeah, there's no prep for them. They wasn't going to get any practice, even if they had come up this way. And in fact, I think their campus is closed for the entire week, as most of those places are. So it'll probably be next week before they're back in school.
We know the Tigers lose that game against Warner in terms of actually being able to play, not a win-loss there. But and then also this week they'll be without a matchup as they couldn't come up with the Ave Maria game. Obviously, the situation in Naples too dire, or Ave Maria, Florida, too dire to make that happen. So we'll step away, come back, and we'll talk with Coach Thomas about what lies ahead here in the next week and even 2 weeks perhaps as they prepare for Bethel on September 30th here on the Perry Thomas Show.
Campbellsville Baptist Church, a church where all ages grow in the love of God. From children and youth worship to sports ministry and mission outreach, Campbellsville Baptist Church shares the love of God both in and outside of the sanctuary. Join us for worship on Sunday mornings at 9 and small group Bible study at 10:30. That's Campbellsville Baptist Church, the people of God sharing God's love because God's love changes the world.
Grandpa, famous for dropping a line. Lee's, famous for chicken. Fall into a deal this autumn at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Take flavor and value to a whole new level with a cup of our Spicy Jumbo Dippers, a side, a biscuit, and a regular drink, all for an amazing price. It's a deal that's easy to fall for. Make fall value season at Lee's with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Welcome back to the Perry Thomas Show here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. The Tigers sit at 2-0 on the season, and now they wait. They play the waiting game as Matt Payton joined by the head coach, Perry Thomas. Coach, we know you're without that game against Warner a few weeks ago. We're now without that game against Ave Maria this weekend, but I give a lot of credit. Jim Hardy, athletics director, will join us later. He and Rusty Hollingsworth and others, they were actively trying to find a new opponent for the Tigers. They didn't want you guys sitting. You wanted to be on the field.
Yeah, we actually thought we had one scheduled, and it didn't work out. And talked to some other teams, and things just couldn't work with logistics and open dates and so forth, which, as the head coach, you understand how those things go. And, we at one point we had sent a text out to our guys that we had a game, and one of the Florida teams got their power back on, so that eliminated that. You just move on. You take it and you find the silver lining in it, and you get better every day and focus on us. At the beginning of the year, our focus is us anyway, so we're going to focus on us, and we're going to get better every day at practice. What you lose is your game timing. You lose your game conditioning somewhat. And, you go the next game, they'll be playing game 5 or 6, and you're playing game 3. So it's like you're coming out of camp. But there's still some positives in it, and we'll take those positives and get better.
And we talk to Coach about, trying to get those games and pick up games. But football is so different, and you're working within a finite schedule. Obviously, You've got a limited number of weeks, but it's not a baseball or a basketball where you can pick up a game on a Tuesday evening or a Wednesday night or whatever. I mean, it's a physical game, so you really are limited in your options to try to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You have to have the proper recovery. You also have to have the proper preparation. You can't just go out and play, because from a safety standpoint, you need to prepare for those games. That's why you exchange films and so forth, so people aren't getting blindsided on hits and different type of plays. They have some familiarity with it, and it keeps them safe. So you can't just pop up and play someone like some people think you can. Football is just not that type of game. Also, you travel with so many more people than you do in other sports. So finding 40 rooms isn't easy. If you had to call and get 5 or 10 rooms, many times you can get that. But to find 40 rooms at a hotel, many of you, even high-name hotels, don't have 40 rooms with double beds. So it's not, once again, like you just called and you got a room all of a sudden. Then you also have to get 2 big buses. Not just one bus, but you have to get 2 big buses and drivers. So there's a great deal that goes into it. It's not as easy, and all sports are difficult to schedule for, but it's not as easy to reschedule those things overnight like some sports are. And you have to consider those things when you're planning.
And so now what will become almost a month-long break between games. You'll go from the second, that win at Point University, a nice win for the Tigers. Now you lose 2 games in terms of scheduling and being able to play. You have that bye week thrown in there. So you go from the 2nd to the 30th in that matchup with Bethel. You talked about it, work on yourselves. You're going to be able to get healthy during this time and a lot of things. There's some positives and negatives. How are you spinning that to the team? How was the presentation to the team?
Well, the presentation to us will be that we're going to get better. We're going to go out and we're going to drive and grind and get better, working on us, focusing on us. And when we face that next opponent, we better be hungry, ready to go. Our positive is that we should be fairly healthy. We do have some time to correct some things that we need corrected, and our legs will be fresh. Our negatives will be that you will be basically coming out of camp tempo, whereas your opponent would be in mid-season form. And if it wasn't a reason to play those extra 2 or 3 games in there, nobody would. So there's a reason you play a 9, 10 game, 11 game schedule. So that would be the negative, but we're going to spin it in a positive way, and there's nothing that can be done, so we're not going to hang our head and pout. We're just going to get better every day and keep grinding and focus on us. And, hopefully we're the best team we're going to face anyway. And if that's the case, then we should be ready to go when we go to Bethel.
I think that's a good point. There's nothing to hang your head about. This is impacting the Tigers worse than any team in the Mid-South Conference, but it's nobody's fault. It's just one of those things, and you kind of deal with it and go on. But a positive note here, Coach, we've talked about this a few times over the last couple of weeks. Over my left shoulder, you see the white helmet there, and that's a new look for the Tigers, and so we wanted to kind of bring that on the set and let any of the fans that maybe haven't gotten a chance to be up close and personal with those, you kind of get a look. But kind of a new look, and I know the guys, they love it.
Yeah, I mean, everything we do is about the guys. People always ask me, Coach, do you like this uniform, or do you like this sweatshirt? And I'm old, so it really doesn't matter what I think. When you get uniforms, at least from my standpoint, you're getting things that promote the university, of course, but also that the players like and the recruits like. And we love our maroon helmets, and we'll continue to wear our maroon helmets. But we also will add the fresh look of the white helmets. We have the Tiger logo on it. The number on the back and the maroon, and they look nice with our uniforms, so we'll continue to wear both. But the guys loved them. Certainly it was a fresh look for them, and I've had a lot of tweets from alumnus and so forth that really liked them also.
And Coach, before we let you go this week and get Coach Hardy in here, we do want to send well wishes. Josh Dean was involved in a car accident, so we want to send him some well wishes and wish him the best and speedy recovery as well.
Yeah, he got banged up a little bit, but he'll be fine. He'll recover, and we're praying for the best for him, and also for those affected in Florida and so forth by the hurricane and the disasters. We focus so much on our sports, but some things put life in perspective for us. So we just pray for all those affected by the hurricanes and Coach Dean, and I wish him a quick recovery.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for joining us this
you.
week. Coach Thomas will step away. We'll visit with the athletics director here at Campbellsville University, Jim Hardy, when we return on the Perry Thomas Show.
My name is James C. Miller III, and I started to work at Taylor County Bank on July 1st, 1960. The bank was started because during the crash, the banks here failed, or at least one of them did. So there was a need for an additional bank in Taylor County. But the thing about our bank is this, that we had an old slogan back then: first in service, first in safety, first in convenience. And that's what we've always tried to do, and I think we still do.
Here at Saloma Baptist Church, our mission and ministry extends beyond our walls. We are focused on teaching all ages about the love of Jesus, preparing them for a life of mission. We are committed to serving the local community and the world in the name of Jesus Christ. For more information on service times and mission opportunities, please visit our website at salomabaptist.com. We extend a warm welcome to you and your family here at Saloma Baptist Church.
Whether you're 2 or 102, the Tigerville Grill has something for you. Take advantage of the Build Your Own Burger menu. In the mood for something small? Choose one of the many delicious slider options. Call ahead and use our fast and easy drive-thru. Oh, that cool freestyle fountain drink machine? We've still got it. The Tigerville Grill, located at 314 North Columbia Avenue and open to the public 11 to 8 daily.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Whether you're watching on Comcast Cable Channel 10 or 88.7 The Tiger, now we're joined by the new athletics director for Campbellsville University, Jim Hardy.
Good to be with you,
Thanks
Matt.
for being with us. Yeah, and I guess we'll start right there. I say new athletics director. This is a role that you're very familiar with from your time at Campbellsville High School, and then here at the university working with Rusty Hollingsworth in an assistant athletics director role. Some changes there in the athletics department. Rusty Hollingsworth now the vice president of athletics, and you assume the top role there of athletics director.
Yeah, it's been kind of a blessing and a curse, I guess. I've been able to kind of study under who I feel is one of the best, if not the best, athletic director, athletic administrator I've ever seen. Rusty is very well respected, not only in the Mid-South Conference, but in the NAIA. He's very well known and has a great reputation, so that always makes it fun to try to fill somebody's shoes. But it's also great because Rusty has, trained me to, take over the reins, and he's still here. I was telling somebody this morning, it's so great to have him still here to call upon his knowledge of all the things that go with that. And as you said, I've been in the office about 4 years before taking on this role, and had a lot of experience in athletic administration, but there still are things that, obviously I've had to learn, things that I didn't deal with that Rusty dealt with solely, and that's the big learning curve, is get through those. But we're making our way, and it's going good. Again, I have just the best staff of people to work with, and I'm so blessed to have all the coaches and GAs that we have. Is just a really good situation.
Well, and the old saying, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And working with athletics and college students and being able to impact young lives is obviously something I think you were called to do.
Yeah, it is. It's like I said, sometimes a blessing and a curse, because there's so many mountains and valleys, and you just wish you could impact every kid in a fantastic way, and hopefully we do. But then, still we have tough situations we have to deal with at times, and just hopefully we help them through those, and even our coaches too, and hopefully that's kind of what I've always thought as athletic director. I've always tried to place myself as a coach, as AD, and to not only be the administrator for them, but also help them to be able to be equipped to do what they do the best they possibly can. And also, you know, in terms of ministry, reaching out to them, and you know, that's why I love Campbellsville University. It gives me that opportunity to maybe do a little bit of both. So it's a good situation.
You mentioned the term kind of mountains and valleys, and we've been from a football standpoint, this being the Perry Thomas show,
yeah.
we're in what I would call a valley
Yeah.
for sure. And Coach, we touched on it with Coach Thomas a little bit earlier, but it's no one's fault.
No.
It's one of those things that you can't control. I can't control Coach Thomas. None of those coaches in Florida can control. But it is a situation where it really kind of leaves the Tigers, you know, up in the air, so to speak, and looking at, you know, 3-4 weeks without a football game.
Yeah, it's unprecedented. I mean, we've talked so much about it actually all morning too, even between meetings and things, still trying to see if there's some way to squeeze something in here or there and find a way to get a game in. But I tell you, man, it's not looking real good, and we're going to end up what looks like possibly going 4 weeks without a football game in season, which I'm sure Perry probably talked about this. I didn't hear his part, but you know what that does is put you, when we go to Bethel, puts us playing a Bethel team that's mid-season form, and we're going to roll in like, you know, just coming out of camp. And you know, from an old football coach, I know that is tough, really tough, and we've got a really good team, and it just seems kind of unfair. But as you said, it's nobody's fault. You know, it happened, and you know, I know Perry, I know him well, and I think, you know, I know this about him. He will do everything in his power to have his kids ready to play. So I don't question that.
It walked me through. We talked a little bit with Coach Thomas on that, but walk me through this process of, do we have a game? We don't have a game. Let's try to find another game. Well, we couldn't find another game. Like, walk me through the last, you know, 7 to 8 days and what all that has been like for you.
Yeah, it's been, again, crazy among, you know, a lot of other things, you know, with eligibility and other things that I'm kind of getting my feet wet in a little bit. You know, you throw in a situation.
Welcome to the job.
Yeah. And then you get Warner. Let's start back with Warner. And Warner wanted to come up. We had worked hard to try to get them to be able to come up earlier. Worked on, you know, come up on Friday. We'll put everything together. Had moved. Everybody had everything covered logistically to make that happen. And then got a call. I don't remember the exact day, but maybe Wednesday or something, where they said, you know what, we don't want to do it. We don't want to take a chance and get there and not be able to get back, and our kids get back safe. Totally understandable. You know, I don't question their judgment on that. But again, it left us without a game and actually not enough time to even try to find a replacement. So then you get, on top of that, you move into this week, and so we've already lost one. Then the hurricane hits. You know, we're trying to watch. We're sending tweets back and forth what Naples looks like, and we're like, there's no way. Well, then you had a kind of a dead period of time where there's no way to contact anybody. So we've spent most of the weekend no way to contact anybody. Finally, Perry broke through with their coach. But then, long story short, they can't get their kids in. They can't practice. What I understand it is their bleachers and stuff were blown out onto their field, and I think that's a new field. And it just, the whole thing has been unfortunate. Thought we had a chance of maybe getting Bluefield. That kind of fell through late yesterday afternoon when Southeastern said, we've got power, so we want to play. And that pulled Bluefield away from us. So, you know, we're back to square one. We're still attempting to do anything we can. We are looking at maybe Ave Marie, that second open date in October, but that's still up. That depends on, everything depends on a lot of other people, and that's what's frustrating.
Yeah, that's the part about it. The Tigers kind of at the mercy of everyone else, so to speak, and trying to find games. And 8 games actually the minimum for a team to be eligible for the playoffs. So knock on wood, nothing else crazy happens. But if anything else were to happen, you'd be looking at a 7-game schedule, and that wouldn't be enough regardless of where you're at.
And especially when you think, you know, if you lose a game, you have no other way to make it up. There is no. The only thing that could potentially be is if, and you can't do that if you make the playoffs, but would be to add a game at the end, which would give you more games, but wouldn't help you in the playoff race. You'd maybe get another game, but it means nothing.
Right, and so the Tigers may have to wait until that September 30th date with Bethel. At least that's the way it appears now down in McKenzie, Tennessee. And Coach, before we let you go, exciting times around the athletics department. We talked about the Valley. Let's talk about something a little more on a positive note here. But with the H&W Fieldhouse, we lost it last year or earlier this year, I guess, and there has to be a replacement there. And looks like we're moving in a positive direction. We've got something in the works there.
Right. I think all the final renderings, I believe, are all done. At least from the last email conversations we've had and stuff, and it is so exciting to see that. We're looking forward to possibly breaking ground sometime early October maybe, and early to mid-October, and if it couldn't be here quick enough for me, we need that building desperately. It would help logistically in a lot of things we're having to deal with now, but very exciting. 2-floor, extra office space, storage, more offices, great locker rooms for football and soccer, and I could just go on and on. It's going to be fantastic, and we're just so excited to be moving forward.
Definitely a facelift to campus as you replace that building and that corner of campus over in the athletics area there with football and the Hawkins Center, definitely to get an upgrade. Well, Coach, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us this week.
Thank you.
That's Coach Jim Hardy, the new athletics director here at Campbellsville University. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back next week on the Perry Thomas Show.
Campbellsville Baptist Church, a church where all ages grow in the love of God. From children and youth worship to sports ministry and mission outreach, Campbellsville Baptist Church shares the love of God both in and outside of the sanctuary. Join us for worship on Sunday mornings at 9 and small group Bible study at 10:30. That's Campbellsville Baptist Church, the people of God sharing God's love because God's love changes the world.
Grandpa, famous for dropping a line. Lee's, famous for chicken. Fall into a deal this autumn at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Take flavor and value to a whole new level with a cup of our Spicy Jumbo Dippers, a side, a biscuit, and a regular drink, all for an amazing price. It's a deal that's easy to fall for. Make fall value season at Lee's with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
My name is James C. Miller III, and I started to work at Taylor County Bank on July 1st, 1960. The bank was started because during the crash, the banks here failed, or at least one of them did. So there was a need for an additional bank in Taylor County. But the thing about our bank is this, that we had an old slogan back then: first in service, first in safety, first in convenience, and that's what we've always tried to do, and I think we still do.
Here at Saloma Baptist Church, our mission and ministry extends beyond our walls. We are focused on teaching all ages about the love of Jesus, preparing them for a life of mission. We are committed to serving the local community and the world in the name of Jesus Christ. For more information on service times and mission opportunities, please visit our website at salomabaptist.com. We extend a warm welcome to you and your family here at Saloma Baptist Church.
Whether you're 2 or 102, the Tigerville Grill has something for you. Take advantage of the Build Your Own Burger menu. In the mood for something small? Choose one of the many delicious slider options. Call ahead and use our fast and easy drive-thru. Oh, that cool freestyle fountain drink machine? We've still got it. The Tigerville Grill, located at 314 North Columbia Avenue and open to the public 11 to 8 daily.